Hey, I'm going to tell you about the Aulic Council and its influence in German imperial politics after 1648, okay? Right, let's begin. The Aulic Council, or Reichshofrat in German, was one of the Holy Roman Empire's two supreme courts after the imperial reform movement of the 16th century. Unlike the other imperial supreme court, the Reichskammergericht, the Aulic Council's judges were directly appointed and paid for by the Holy Roman Emperor. It maintained significant authority following the Peace of Westphalia in 1648 and is considered one of the most important supreme courts in early modern European history, alongside the Parliament of Paris and the Rota Romana, the High Appellate Tribunal of the Catholic Church. Acting as a guardian of imperial rights, the Aulic Council protected smaller estates from larger powers and subjects from aggressive rulers through numerous interventions. By imperial rights, I generally refer to a collection of many laws, procedures, and precedents that were established over the Holy Roman Empire's long existence. These range from the Golden Bull of 1356 early imperial reform, like Ewiger Landfriede, the 1555 Peace of Augsburg, and of course, the Peace of Westphalia. Together, these form what historians refer to as the Imperial Constitution. Though it is sometimes assumed that members of the Holy Roman Empire had sovereign and practically independent status after Westphalia, this isn't the case. In fact, some scholars like Andreas Osiander call that idea a Westphalian myth. Anyways, an example of the Aulic Council in action would be the Brandenburg-Kulmbach crisis of 1716. In the early 18th century, both Prussia and Kulmbach were ruled by the same family, the House of Hohenzollern. When Kulmbach's inheritance fell into dispute, mighty Prussia attempted to enforce her succession claims over the much smaller Kulmbach through complex inheritance shenanigans and prepared to seize control over Kulmbach after the death of its ruling Margrave. In response, Kulmbach appealed to Emperor Charles VI and the Aulic Council, which ruled Prussia's claims invalid. Prussia promptly complied with the ruling, demonstrating how imperial courts effectively protected smaller territories from more powerful neighbors through legal means rather than warfare. Outside of interstate conflicts, the Aulic Council also dealt with internal disputes of the empire's members. A good example is when the council removed Nassau-Siegen's tyrannical prince, William Hyacinth, in 1707, when evidence was uncovered that Hyacinth was abusing the rights of his subjects following a series of lawsuits. In this case, the Aulic Council had to intervene militarily and did so by authorizing the cathedral chapter of the Electorate of Cologne to occupy Nassau-Siegen. Later, the Aulic Council also cooperated with the local imperial circle, a sort of regional subdivision in the empire. The end result was that Hyacinth was removed and his actions were investigated. There are many other cases of imperial intervention in local affairs through the Aulic Council. For example, the council halted excessive witch trials in Bamberg in 1629, deposed the Count of Hohenheim's Vaduz in 1684 for abuse of judicial powers, and imprisoned Rheingraf Karl Magnus for financial fraud. The Aulic Council played a crucial role in imperial juridification, or Verrechtlichung in German. Juridification is important because it established legal methods rather than warfare as the primary means of conflict resolution in the empire. I already mentioned the Kulmbach affair, which was settled in this manner. Another example of this would be the Hesse-Rheinfels crisis of 1718. When the Landgrave of Hesse Castle tried to take control of the fortress of Rheinfels, pressure from the Aulic Council and the threat of imperial military intervention forced him to back down. Many cases that appeared before the Aulic Council didn't end up in such formal verdicts, however. The council preferred mediation and often tried to create compromise solutions. Sometimes, the act of filing a complaint at the Aulic Council was enough for a party to agree to a settlement. Notably, the Aulic Council allowed subjects, including peasants, to sue their rulers, a distinctive feature in early modern Europe. Sometimes, large peasant delegations, or their representatives, could be seen in Vienna on their way to petition the emperor. However, I should note that the Aulic Council was not an unconditional protector of the weak. There were times when the council sided with the more powerful party. While larger estates occasionally defied rulings, such instances remained exceptions before 1740, with even powerful rulers like Frederick William I of Prussia choosing to bribe council members for favorable judgments rather than openly defy the institution. The council's effectiveness significantly contributed to the Leopoldian resurgence of Habsburg influence in Germany, contradicting the inaccurate notions that Westphalia had completely shattered imperial authority. Some historians like Barbara Stolberg-Reilinger consider it one of the Habsburgs' most important tools of exercising imperial authority. To quote contemporary German jurist Johann Stephan Putter, quote, "Princes who abuse their territorial power have been shown by a higher power that they are not independent, and the highest imperial courts, like the Aulic Council, have issued verdicts aimed at pushing back the exercise of the territorial governing powers into certain boundaries." Okay, that's about it. Good night.